We're going to be looking at finding the x and y intercepts from an equation. So I'm going to do a quick review. We had already talked about, let's just say, here's my y-axis, here's your x-axis. And so if I'm looking at, my x-intercept is going to be somewhere on this line. So I'm just going to pick a point. Let's make it right there. And that point is 3, 0. Okay. If I picked another point, I'm going to make it a different color. Let's do this one. This point is 6, 0. One thing that you will notice is that my y value is always 0, because remember, your ordered pairs are your points. So for the x-axis, if it's crossing the x-axis, we are not moving up and down on the y-axis because that point is 0. So for the x-intercept, y is always equal to 0. Okay, so let's look at the y-intercept for a minute. So let's pick a negative number. So that is 0, -2. If I pick a different one, let's just pick this one up here. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 0, 6. Because I'm not moving left or right on my x-axis. I'm only moving up and down. So if you notice on this one, my x values are equal to 0. So for my y-intercept, x is always equal to 0. So that's the important thing you have to remember for trying to find the x and y intercepts from an equation. So we're just going to go through a few problems. Okay, so for this one, my x-intercept. Remember, for my x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So if I make this and say that y is equal to 0, all you have to do is substitute 0 in for y. So 4x plus 0 equals 20. Well, that means that 4x is equal to 20. So we just have to divide both sides by 4. And once we do that, 4 over 4 is 1. So x is equal to 5. So my x-intercept is at 5, 0. Okay, so we're going to look at my y-intercept. We'll do these in blue. So for my y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So if I put a 0 in for x, 4 times 0 plus 5y equals 20. 0 plus 5y is equal to 20. So we can solve that. 5y is equal to 20. We divide both sides by 5. What you do to one side, you got to do the other. So y is equal to 4. So my y-intercept, x is always 0. So we have 0, 4. Okay, I'm going to draw a line down through here to separate these. So for this one, my x-intercept. Remember, x-intercept, y is equal to 0. So 2x minus 0 equals -4. 2x minus 0 is just 2x. So 2x is equal to -4. So I'm going to solve for x. 2x divided by 2, -4 divided by 2, 2 over 2 is 1, so x is equal to, negative divided by a positive is a negative. It's negative 2. So my x-intercept is negative 2, 0. Because that's my x value and my y is always equal to 0. Okay, for my y-intercept, remember for your y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So if I substitute 0 in for x, I get 0 minus y equals negative 4. Well, 0 minus y is just negative y equals negative 4. So remember, we have to multiply both sides by negative 1 because I need to end up with a positive y. So y is equal to 4. So my y-intercept for this equation is 0, 4 because my x is always 0. We're going to look at two more. Okay, my x-intercept. For your x-intercept, y is equal to 0. If it helps you to write that, then write it. 5x plus 3 times 0 equals negative 3. So that's 5x plus 0 equals negative 3. So 5x is equal to negative 3. And I need to isolate my variable. So I need to divide by my coefficient. So x is equal to, negative divided by a negative is still a positive. So my x-intercept is negative 3/5, 0. Because remember, your y is always equal to 0. Okay, for this one, for my y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So if I put 5 times 0 plus 3y is equal to negative 3. That's 0 plus 3y is equal to negative 3. So 0 plus 3y is just 3y equals, so I've got it simplified. I need to isolate my variable. So I have to divide both sides by 3. So y is equal to, negative divided by a positive is a negative, and 3 divided by 3 is 1. So my y-intercept, remember my x is always 0, so my y is negative 1. Again, I'm going to draw a line down through here just to separate them. Okay, last one. X-intercept, my y is equal to 0. So 3x minus 2 times 0 equals 6. Okay, so that's 3x minus 0 equals 6, which simplifies to 3x equals 6. Then I have to isolate my variable. So I have to divide both sides by 3. So x is equal to 2. So my x-intercept, remember your y is always equal to 0. X is 2, y is 0. Because remember, all your ordered points or ordered pairs are written like that, x and y. Okay, for my y-intercept, x is equal to 0. So 3 times 0 minus 2y equals 6. Well, that's 0. 0 minus 2y is equal to 6. So remember, this is a negative 2y. So negative 2y equals 6, and then I have to isolate my variable. Well, my variable's isolated, but now I have to isolate it even more because I have to divide by negative 2. So that's my coefficient, so y is equal to positive divided by a negative is a negative. So I get negative 3. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 3. And I didn't really write a equal sign for any of the other ones, so we'll take that out. Okay, so it's very simple solving an equation. You just have to know which number to substitute 0 into.